Away, what's up? I'm Dalin Oliver.
And I'm Carl Lewis.
And welcome to the Sports Podcast. That sounded lekker.
Yeah, that actually did. But let's get to the show.
Oh, you're going to go to the show? Okay. Are we winning?
Yeah, ready to go.
Magic. There we go. Carl Lewis. The Sports Podcast is live with myself, Dalin Oliver, and Carl Lewis. Away, ladies and gents. Welcome. It's episode 4. We made it, Louis.
Yeah, 1 week we missed, in fairness, but
Yes.
we are back. We are back.
We blame ESCOM for that week. It was a horrible week of load shedding. I came
It was.
home a few. I don't know if you had this as well. I came home a few times, and the load shedding wasn't on my schedule, and I was just going, "Oh, there's no electricity. Standard. I'll deal with it."
Nah, I mean, we were on schedule, but normally, like, it's 2.5 hours. Normally, by 2 hours, they'll put it back on. But that last half an hour has been absolutely killing me of late. But we move. I think I need to get a UPS, though. But yeah, we move.
I've got a UPS, but this is the problem, man. I almost don't know how to plug all the things in properly, so I'm just dick lazy. It's in the box.
I have this Wi-Fi extender, and it just was too confusing for me. And yeah, I'm the same. I'm technically challenged. I need to get someone to come sort it out for me.
Yes, the same on our side. But we move on. Load shedding, state of disaster, whatever the case is. Sport action continues. We got a liquor show. I'm very excited about what we're going to chat about. We got our big thing, the Proteas Women doing ridiculously well at the ICC Women's World Cup. Then our South African-based United Rugby Championship sides, 2 delicious. Champions League, May Genade, SA Bangladesh coming up as well. And the Premier League title race, juicy than a grenadilla lolly on Boxing Day. Carl Lewis, we're in for a great show.
We are. I agree.
Oh, we're going to leave that there? We just get quiet.
Oh, do you want me to talk more? No, I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
I'm ready to get into the topics.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
ready to talk about our Proteas Women.
Okay, Louis, let's kick things off. One big thing, we're chatting about our momentum Proteas at the ICC Women's World Cup in New Zealand. They're doing fantastic. 3 wins on the trot. The big one was yesterday's win. It's the 15th of March today when we're recording. So yesterday was the 14th. They beat defending champions England. But I love how the form is coming together slowly but surely. The wheels and the machine is just ticking nicely. And we're very optimistic.
Yeah. I think how can you not be, 3 wins from 3? I think particularly what stood out for me is the players standing up in the clutch when the team has really needed them. I'm thinking Shabnim Ismail. I'm thinking Marizan Cup. You mentioned we beat England, defending champions. That's a huge win. Marizan Cup, player of the match, 5 wickets and 30. Again, Laura Wolfart, she got 70 as she did in the match before against Pakistan, which won by 6 runs. There again, Shabnim Ismail was so clutch with her 3 wickets. And in our first match, we beat Bangladesh by 32 runs. Wolfart again getting 40. She got another 70 against Pakistan. So the ladies are standing up. The ladies are,
Yes.
and I think Shabnim Ismail is going to get the headlines because she's flipping quick and so destructive, and so she handles pressure well. As will Marizan Cup, as will Laura Wolfart. But Chloe Tryon has played, our all-rounder, has played some special innings. She's been getting 30 here, 30 there in our matches. Also, Trisha Chetty, some valuable 30s as well. Ayabonga Kaka, 7 wickets in the tournament, or it could be 8 actually. She's our highest wicket taker, but she got 4 against Bangladesh. So different players are standing up, and it's really, really good to see the business end of the competition. I mean, our next fixtures are against New Zealand, which is on Thursday, Australia next Tuesday, and then the Windies. Now, New Zealand are the hosts, Australia are the favourites, and the Windies, much like their men's side, have superstar players that can beat anyone on their day. So, I mean, it's the tough part of the tournament is still coming. However, I think there's more than enough to clutch on to be optimistic.
And I mean, even the victory against England was massive, man. Seeing a Proteas side chasing at the World Cup, that's
Yeah.
special. I mean,
Yes.
we weren't. I was watching it online. I wasn't able to watch it live. And as I saw the first wicket fall, I saw Lazelle Lee go, and I was going, I hope this isn't the
Yeah.
collapse that's busy happening. But it's a special bunch of players who, over the past year and a bit, have learned to play under real pressure situations. And you speak
Hmm.
about Lord of Wolfart, Marizan Cup, etc. They're just stepping up in all the right times, and they seem very fearless because of the time they've spent together. So they know how to win. There's a winning culture, and
Yeah.
you can see this in the way they're playing at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you have to credit the coaching staff, but I also think from CSA's perspective, I mean, there's a lot more that can be done. But obviously, there's been investment in the women's game from Momentum in particular. And I feel that money is being clearly well spent. The results are showing it. And I feel there's, for us cricket fans, South African cricket fans, there's a lot to be proud of with our women's side. And it just shows you, like, I think I mentioned on this podcast a couple of weeks ago, how women's sport is the big growth area in global sport, if we're honest, where, it can become big business. It's in its infancy still. But it's just encouraging to show, if you pay a little bit of attention to a South African sports team, as they are doing with the Proteas Women, results follow, and I mean, they justifying why we need to get behind them and why they are forced to be reckoned with. I think we still have a long way to go before we can start beating Australia consistently, because that they are my biggest fear, to be honest with you. They just have world-class players, but we'll get there. And I make it a point that I always thank Momentum, because they actually put their money where their mouths are, and we are seeing the success. And I think that's huge. But next week, well, this Thursday and next week, that will really tell us a lot about this Proteas side. I mean, we've seen enough, and we know this team is filled with players of character, uh, players that can get the job done in pressure situations. There is absolutely no doubt our bowling attack is world class. We have one of the best batsmen in the world in Laura Wolfart. But now we need to do it against Australia and the host New Zealand and the Windies, and hopefully push on to the semi-finals and final. Yeah, I'm
I
optimistic.
don't know if no, I love the optimism and the positive energy, but I don't know if you know this, Louis. If you Google Lord of Wolfart, then next to a name says this is what a cover drive looks like. That's just the new facts that Google's putting in because of how
Yeah,
gun a cover drive is. They're just
I'm
throwing it.
also, and I'm glad it's becoming like common knowledge. It's like in the cricket fan zeitgeist that
Yes.
we all know Loro Wolfart has one of the best cover drives in the game on both sides, both genders. So yeah, I think everyone now is starting to realize. And I mean, we cannot forget about the fielding. Jeepers, she's an
Took a quality
outstanding fielder
catch.
as well. Yeah, and she's still young,
Listen,
eh? She's gonna score a
but
lot of runs for South Africa.
22 years old, 22 years old, and doing the most locally and internationally. I just want to jump back into that bit about you spoke about momentum and the investment. I know we're going to wrap up our big thing in a bit, but a lot of people won't know the way in which national contracts have just grown. I mean, there was a time where this wasn't a dream, this wasn't a thing within women's cricket. I mean, yes, it was a dream of the players, but it wasn't happening within the country. You spoke about the ICC Women's World Cup at one stage where there were volunteers. So
Yes.
as men, it's very important not to just assume that there's been this natural progression. It's been a fight over the years
Yeah.
within the sport. Mm.
Yeah,
Just
and
wanted to
I think
note that. Yeah.
uh, and for the fathers of daughters there, cricket is now, women's cricket is becoming a very professional, and there's money to be made from it. So you really can invest in your daughter being a cricketer, a very good cricketer, and then making money off that when she gets out of school. And that's what you want, you want that opportunity for women where, they obsessed with sports, but unfortunately their sport isn't professionalized. So there's nothing to push forward to, no goals to set after high school, whatever, unless you want to be like the hockey guys and they have to pay out of their own pockets, and it's not that lekker, man. So I love the fact that cricket is becoming very professionalized, and it's a viable option for girls now to see it as a career path.
I love it, Carl Lewis, and the fact that they can say, I want to be a Lord of Wolford, I want to be Shabnam Ishmael, I want to be Ayabonga Kaka. They're not referencing the males as their role models. I'm down for that. Okay, lekker stuff. So we're backing our momentum Proteas to pick up those crucial victories as they look to book their ticket in the last four. For now, we leave it there. We'll catch up with our local cricket ladies next week. When I say that, I mean Carl and I will talk about it. We won't actually catch up with him. One day. But for now, let's move over to the United Rugby Championship. Okay, Louis, we need to talk about a couple of things. We kick off with the URC. My genade, what happened on South African soil over the past couple of days? Did the rugby gods just say, South Africa, it's your time to shine and all your teams will win and play quality rugby? Stormers, Sharks, Lions and Bulls all showing up and really playing the brand of rugby that we want them to play and that we know they can.
Yeah, I mean, I always felt that especially in altitude, we get the better of the Northern Hemisphere sides. And I just thought, when we traveled there at the start of the competition, it wasn't a fair reflection on us. There were no Boks. And now the Boks are here, and you can see the difference it's making. And in fairness to the Northern Hemisphere sides, a lot of their players are involved in the Six Nations. So we have to be cognizant of that. But even if they did have their big players, maybe Munster could have given Bulls more of a test. However, I still feel on South African soil, our teams were always going to come out victorious. I planned, I predicted a clean sweep for our four sides. Stormers beat Zebre, which they should have. Sharks beat Scarlets. Lions beat Cardiff, and the Bulls beat Munster. And this, I just want to talk about the actual competition now. The Sharks are 6th, so they're in the top 8 go into the playoffs. Stormers are 8th. The Bulls are 10th, but we must remember that our teams have played 11 matches. So there's one or two makeup games that they still need to play. So I thought there's going to be a shootout between the Stormers and the Bulls maybe for a playoff spot. But I mean, we could actually see a lot of South African sides if we can keep up the form and make sure that we win more at home, which we should do. Look, although we beat the teams, I still think there's so much room for improvement. I'm not sure if you watched any games. It was great to watch the Stormers against playing such free-flowing rugby.
I'm biased. Yeah. I watched the Stormers. You know that. I'm so audible when it comes to showing allegiance to other sides. I watched the highlights of the other side, but I watched the Stormers. Good to see Natla dricking a 3 times.
Yes.
Willemse getting his 50th cap and scoring. Skara even in the mix.
Well, Skara is just an outstanding hooker. Injuries just haven't been his friends through the year. But I just want to touch on Damian Willemse playing at 12. Initially, I was not a fan of Damian Willemse at 12. I always thought he was a 15, but he can't play 15 because Warwick Gelant is shooting out the lights in that position and no one's going to topple him. But Damian Willemse has been superb at 12. I think he's genuinely now an option. I think the pecking order in my eyes is Damian Dialendi at 12. He's the incumbent first choice. Behind him, Andre Esterhuizen, who's playing superb rugby for Harlequins in the Premiership. And then Damian Willemse, because Damian Willemse allows you that versatility on the bench and stuff. But yeah, I'm glad he's settled somewhat. But I'm glad he's playing good rugby because he deserves a good run of games. And yeah, the Stormers backline is just, they're hot. They are absolute fire.
Your homeboy, I know you're a fan of him, the way he's matured and improved over time. Mani Laboko, so converting and scoring a try. So consistent all the time. Just slowly but surely,
I think most South African fans who know their rugby know that Mani Labok is talented. But I think we're all very surprised how while he's playing at 10 and so consistently, this is what we want to see from Mani Labok. So yeah, his career is on a great end. And then we also got to give credit to the heroes that are the veterans, rather, Dion Fourie and Brock Harris.
Brock Harris. Each time you say his name, I'm just going to start cheering. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like if Brock Harris worked at the corporate office, every time he walked in, everybody would just start clapping and standing. I feel like, yes, boy. What a man.
That's weird that you say that because, I'm talking almost a decade ago when Brock Harris used to play for the Stormers. My friends and I used to say that he's the moonlighting accountant because he doesn't look like a rugby player. He doesn't look like a rugby player. But I mean, he's playing superb rugby. And yeah, it's just happy. I'm just happy that outsides got a win. We need another win this coming weekend. More wins this coming weekend, just to secure those playoff berths. And the Lions in
Yes.
particular, the Lions, they're out of the running, but just to kind of just polish off their season, finish off their season
Yes.
strong. But yeah,
I think
very good weekend all in all for South African rugby in the URC.
lovely stuff, Carl Lewis. We're all excited. Go Stormers, go Bulls, go Sharks, go Lions. We'll just keep it very generic in terms of our biases, but you guys know we at Lie. Then our biases, yes, that's a word. I'm using it officially. He's going to show this weekend. I always do this, Carl. Do you remember when you were at school? Did you fake drive a car down the corridors? Did you go, oh, did you make car sounds? Did you
Of
make
course, yeah.
car sounds? Do you
Yeah.
make car sounds when the Formula One starts? Because opening weekend, Bahrain on Sunday, I sit in my lounge and when they're revving, I'm like, what? I don't know. I'm just that person.
Well, I realized that I'm a father to a 6-year-old, then I don't do it.
You see, you are full on mature. I am a bachelor who gets lonely a lot of the time, Carl, and has to make sure that he entertains himself.
We should have a dating section on this podcast to find you a partner. That would be great content.
That would be great to come make revving sounds with me while I watch Drive to Survive, because I haven't watched it yet. It released about a week ago. Have you touched on it yet?
Oh, I haven't. Weirdly enough, I haven't watched it. And can I tell you why? I never realized I'm still pretty impacted by last year's Abu Dhabi the race. I still
Serious?
am impacted by that. Yeah, and yeah, I'm going to do it before the start of this weekend, Bahrain, the Bahrain Grand Prix. So I'm going to finish it before the weekend, but I'm still F1 last year was an emotionally absorbing season, and that final race was just that was Hollywood stuff. And I didn't think it was fair, as many others, Max's fans, will say otherwise, which is fair enough. But it was a lot emotionally, and I think to relive that, I'm just preparing myself emotionally. But seriously though, the race does start. I mean, the season starts this weekend. I feel like it happened very quickly, and they did have testing at the very same track over this past weekend. And let me tell you, Red Bull is looking very, very strong. Very, very strong. Max was absolutely quick, especially on day 3. So they in great shape. Ferrari, they were shooting the lights out day 1 and day 2 of testing. Very exciting to see the Scuderia Ferrari. I think me and you and, general fans of F1, we want a strong Ferrari. So that was great to see. So I'm hoping they can be very, very competitive. Not a great testing for Mercedes, though. But there could be some gamesmanship from Mercedes. Who knows? However, yeah, as it stands, as we look back at the testing that happened, which is the final testing before race week, you'd have to put your money on the Red Bulls if you had to base that off testing. However, it's one on the track on a Sunday and not at testing. So yeah.
And your thoughts on young George Russell joining Mercedes now, and Hamilton, no Bottas. Do you think Hamilton cares? Do you think he's bothered by it? Do you think it affects the team in the space of the championship?
Well, it seems there's a good relationship, but I mean, George is fast, George is quick, and I think he can cause some damages here. So we'll see what happens. What if he's just as fast as Hamilton, even faster? How does the team play that? How does Hamilton take that? Because, I mean, there was a time where Lewis Hamilton was the young upstart that was annoying his senior teammate, who was Fernando Alonso. So who knows? That could be, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I'm excited. I think they're a good match. Their preseason, they seem to be very close. They seem to be helping each other, seem to be on the same page somewhat. So I guess we'll see. Yeah.
I like that you said George is fast, because it just takes me back and brings you back home, Carl. Do you know when George isn't fast? When you're going via the N1 or N2. Hey-o! Somebody say dad jokes. Somebody said dad jokes? Yes, somebody said dad jokes. You want to hear another dad joke? What song does Liverpool sing each time they win? It goes clop, clop. beating to the rhythm, and they are very happy. As I segue into Champions League football, Carl Lewis, they are through to the quarterfinals. A big, big deal. Not going through the way they would have wanted, but 4 confirmed, 4 still to go through. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we're recording this on Tuesday as Manchester United are set to host Atletico. Ajax, they're playing Benfica as well tonight. Then tomorrow, we've got Chelsea, Lille, and the other fixture, it slips my mind now, but we'll get there. Oh, it's Juventus Villarreal. Sorry. However,
Yes.
I just wanted to talk about the Champions League because the teams that qualified, oh my word. Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Manchester City. This is blockbuster teams. This is what you want out of the Champions League. This is why they wanted to create the Super League for games like this. But I mean, I'm excited for the quarterfinals. I mean, all 4 of these teams are teams you'd naturally want to avoid. So, like the teams that are qualifying tonight and Wednesday, they're gonna be scared of
Are you?
their potential opponent.
I'm looking at you, and in your mind, you want to say it, but you'll never say it because you're a gentleman. You're like, they second stringers. They're going in there as
Yeah,
underdogs. Is that
no,
it? I mean,
I think
United have no business there, the way they're playing football at the
no.
moment. Yeah.
The last week's round of 16 matches, that's the top teams, as in the teams that I feel can go on to win it. Whereas the teams this week rather, like you said, Manchester United, they are not one of Europe's elite. I'm sorry. If you want to talk about them in a commercial sense, be my guest, yes. But when it comes to on the pitch, personnel, I don't think they shape up. And neither does Chelsea, as we can see from the Premier League. I mean, they quite a fair distance behind Liverpool. They own 59 points, 7 points behind Liverpool, and 11 points behind Manchester City. So all I'm saying is I feel the winner will come out of either Liverpool, Bayern, Real Madrid, or Manchester City. They are the teams you want to avoid. If Man United manage to draw one of the teams from this week, that's if they can get past Atletico, which I'm worried that they don't have enough to do. But all I'm saying is the Champions League is shaping up really nicely if you like watching like big teams. I'm hoping Ajax continues their run. Although, I mean, Benfica, if Benfica goes through, same thing, still an underdog vibe. But I do feel Ajax, they play in the Eredivisie, but they are still one of Europe's elite in terms of the football they play. I mean, they won all their games in the group stage and they scored a hell of a lot of goals. They're such an entertaining team to watch. But yeah, the reason why I wanted to talk about this was Liverpool, Bayern, Real Madrid, Manchester City. There's your potential winners.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to the draw. Let's hope they make the draw right this time and don't have a supposed fault in inverted commas where they have to do a redraw. Come on, UEFA. You've got one chance. Make the draw fair once, that you don't put the teams together that you want to. Right. I'm going to stay with football here, Lewis.
Yeah.
Thank you for laughing at that joke. I thought you were going to laugh at the joke, by the way, but you just looked at me and then I was like, it's fine. I don't feel appreciated today. I'm going to move on to the next topic, which is football as well. Before we go to cricket, Liverpool, the title race, Crystal Palace of everyone doing them a moose a favor. By the time this is released, I don't know if Liverpool would have played Arsenal or not, but that 1 point, just like it. This is what you want,
That's
blockbuster
huge.
Football.
Yeah, huge. Crystal Palace and Patrick Vieira did us, the neutrals, the league a favor to keep this title race alive. Because, I mean, the refs against Everton, when Manchester City played Everton 2 weeks ago, they certainly didn't want to keep this race alive, if I'm very honest. It should have been a 1-1 draw with Everton. But, these things have their way of evening up throughout the season, as they say. And City last night drawing 0-0 against Palace. That just opens it up nicely. And I mean, Liverpool, they have to win against Arsenal. Let's not get it twisted, but they're facing Arsenal, who are they've won their last 5 matches in the Premier League.
Playing good football.
I have not seen Arsenal fans this happy in ages. It's weird. It's so weird to have.
They're not impressed.
Yeah, they probably don't know how to act now. They're acting with their wives or their husbands.
Yes.
It's like
they're not talking.
It's a new space for them. But I am
I
happy for
even
them. I mean, they've long suffering, so we
just
can give them
on
that.
the happiness. I was even jogging the other day and I saw a guy running with an Arsenal t-shirt on, and I ran past him. I'm like, "Lick Arsenal," and he just shouted, "Top four, top four." I'm like, "This is the happiness you deserve. You've suffered for a
They
while."
better not bottle the top four, though. I mean, they've got 3 matches in hand on Manchester United. They're 1 point ahead. They should not bottle this, as West Ham have done, and Manchester United to an extent as well. Yeah, but
Do you
that,
see? Do you
yeah.
see them slipping? Do you see City slipping like they did again? Because we go to the final day on the 22nd of May. What do you see this next month and a half and a bit holding?
It's hard to say. I think both City and Liverpool are both machines, man. They're just so automatic. You expect them to pick up 3 points every match. And if I look at the next few fixtures, Liverpool got Watford, Manchester City have Burnley. Those that's expected 3 points. You look a bit further, they face each other on the 4th of April. They are set to play each other. Now, if Liverpool win tomorrow and both City and Liverpool win their next fixtures against Watford and Burnley, I think it sets up their clash on the 4th of
Mm.
April so nicely. I mean, just in terms of stories and how this title race should play out, that as a neutral would be perfect. If unfortunately if Liverpool beat Arsenal and both the top 2 sides win their next, they need to play each other where there's a lot on the line, where there is potentially the number 1 spot on the line. That's the kind of stuff I want to see. I want this particular match to have high stakes on the 4th of April. And if we were to put our money down, who would you put your money on?
Me. This is the
Mm,
problem. I really like Jurgen Klopp and I like the brand of football that Liverpool's playing. And they've got 2 Africans leading the pack there in Mane and Salah. So complete bias towards them. Also, they don't have oil money. You know, Pep, yes, he's built a very good unit, but he's had cash at his disposal. But the way in which we've seen this Liverpool team grow over this past couple of years, nah, bruh, proper. So I'm definitely in their corner. Also, and people will be like, but you support Manchester United. I'm like, yeah, relax. I'm not going to get a tattoo of the club. I'm still a football fan. I also want to see my Liverpool friends happy. They're like the angriest people I know, bruh. Like they just need a happiness call. They need some form. They just need some form of happiness, you know.
yeah,
And but real talk, the brand of football they're playing is real quality, and I actually enjoy watching their matches. I'm not
yeah.
gonna lie. From a football perspective, nah, how can you not?
Mm. So who you are you taking them?
Oh, Liverpool, yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
It will break me inside. But again, I don't want the 10 Manchester City fans, Vincent Barnes, and the 9 others to
yeah.
be. Do you know what I mean?
No, I
I'd
think you
rather
make a
have.
good point. I think you make a good point. You know, I would also personally like Liverpool to win,
And Klopp's
because
got ties to Sia Kolisi and Faf du Plessis. He was quiet with our guys. Wait, Van
it-
Niekerk went to
that
Anfield as
as
well.
well. But I mean, in the
Yeah,
wake of this Chelsea Roman Abramovich ownership, and knowing that the UAE Abu Dhabi, they own City, and you know the it's basically
yes,
state run football clubs,
yes.
petro clubs as they would say. Or I I just think it would be nice. Although it's, I mean, they American owners, Liverpool, but I think they at least stick to a budget. I mean, the fact that they are still back and forthing with Mo Salah over his contract shows you
It's good.
that they are trying to stick within their budget and their wage structure, and that is reminiscent of a top club, and a well-run club. Not City. We have City's such a well-run club. Let's not get it twisted. But they
But
have
there's
money
mad
to get
money.
whoever they want. They spent 100 million on Jack Grealish, and they didn't really need him. If you look at how the
Yes.
season is going, but yeah, I would actually put my money on City. To be very honest with you, I'd like
Okay.
Liverpool to win, but I'd put my money on City because I feel like they are yeah, they more of a machine than what Liverpool is, and I think there's more humanity or more vulnerability to Liverpool than the East City.
You know what keeps me going as a non-Liverpool fan when I was at high school and it was a Champions League match. And I think Liverpool was down 2-0. Was it
Yeah.
2-0? When they won 3-2, Gerrard scored that header from almost in the middle of the bloody box, was it?
Yeah.
I can't remember which year it was. And I was like, flipping hell, these lads can play some football. I might chop and change between United and Liverpool games every now and then. Anyway, let's see how it goes. I'm excited about it. And your top four,
Yeah.
Chelsea, hold on. Manchester United struggle it out with
Chelsea, Chelsea third, obviously, and Arsenal fourth.
You didn't even give United a sniff.
Nah, well, I mean, they are a point ahead of United. They are in fourth, and they still have 3 games in hand. So I think just logically, I'd have to go with Arsenal. And I mean, yes, United had a big win over Spurs.
Yes.
But is it a once off? I don't know. I don't know how United are a hard side to beat, but they don't make winning very easy for themselves.
Yes.
And right now, it just seems that Arsenal are in a better space, so that's why I'm going with that.
Okay. What I'd really like before we wrap this topic up, if some upset can be caused, and Wolves, who's on 29 matches, same as United, they're 2 points behind them, and they 3 behind Arsenal. If West Ham, if they can make some sort of miracle happen and jump into the top 4, it's always like seeing an underdog team getting bloody Champions League qualification, bruh.
That's why I'm so annoyed with Moyes and West Ham, because that's who I wanted to see in the top 4, and they were playing such good football, beating all of the top 6 sides. But when it comes to a Burnley or a Brighton or like a Watford, they stumble, man, and it's very frustrating. And that's the difference between quality sides and good sides.
Fantastic. That's where we leave the Premier League title race for today. Let's wrap up things we need to talk about with the Proteas upcoming ODI series against Bangladesh. Carl, I'm excited. It's going to be interesting. Manas at the IPL. New youngsters could be given chances, but bigger picture, the Proteas need to win and dominate. And it's not going to be easy because Bangladesh can jaw.
Yes. It's so important. So, first of all, in the World Cup Super League context, we have to win the series. Like, we have to.
Yeah.
We struggle. We don't have any points. We drop points against Ireland and Sri Lanka in ODIs, whereas Bangladesh, they're actually on top. But working in our favor, Bangladesh have never beaten South Africa in an ODI series in South Africa. So that's a plus for us. We should, on paper, get the points. But, there's a lot of South African influence at Bangladesh. Head coach Russell Domingo, Alan Donald, bowling coach, power hitting coach Albie Morkel. So they have this South African influence, and they will be well prepared. But I think we'll have too much. And this whole IPL thing, Rabada and Gidi, Van der Dussen, Markram, Jansen, and Nokia, they're supposed to go to the IPL, as is Quentin de Kock, and there's one other gent. But so it will be interesting to see how that's managed. They probably will play the ODI series, then jet off. I know Dean Alger, the test captain, he wanted them to stay. So that's interesting to see how that plays out. But in terms of the actual series, we have to win this game because World Cup qualification is not on the line, but we have to win the series to get points in the World Cup Super League so we can qualify from that league into the World Cup. So as much as it's an easy one on paper, we still desperately need the points.
And we're under pressure, man. We're under pressure on the field, off the field. And it doesn't help that the IPL is happening at the same time. It's like odds are always enough against us each time. We feel like we're getting some rhythm and some momentum. And like we've done in the test series and other series, there's no time to settle. We must settle in the first game. Hit the ground running. My biggest plea as a cricket fan is we can't take so long to figure things out. We professionals. It needs to be figured out in the first match. And when I say that, I mean posting a decent total, less extras, runs on the board, taking wickets, just being the South Africa that we know we can be. Be commanding, man. Don't walk on the field and go, let us look at you and go, Janne, again. So that's my biggest thing from this series. Find the dominating footprint that we know we have as a belief.
And especially at home. We're playing at Centurion and we're playing at the Wanderers. So pitches, we'll like it at altitude. So the bounce will be there. and it should be easier for us and more difficult for the Bangladeshi batsmen to get used to. And I don't think Shakib Al Hassan who is their best player, or probably potentially their greatest player of all time. He won't be here, so that's a big win for us. Who I'm happy to see again is Yanaman Malan. He's back. He's obviously in the squad. He's been in red hot form for South Africa, our best ODI batsman. So happy to see him back. Him and QDK, Quinton de Kock, exciting opening pair. And then, skipper Bavuma to come afterwards. But I'm really excited about our opening pair with the bat. We just need to win, basically, Dalin.
Yes.
That's my thing. There's not much more I can add to it, but I just need South Africans to know that if we don't win the series, I mean, suddenly now we're scrambling for World Cup Super League points, and now we have to work really hard to get into the World Cup. So very important series in that context. In that context.
That's all. Calls it is from Athlone. So if he says context, it's fine. It's because he's locally from the 7764. Listen, I know you're happy about this because we were both extremely excited with his form in the T20 challenge. Wayne Parnell in the squad as well. Great to see. Great to see him back in the mix. Hopefully he gets some game time.
Yes, I'd love him to get some game time. His return to Western Province has been exceptional, to be honest with you. I feel like it's a whole new, different Wayne Parnell. Obviously he's a dad, family man, compared to the gent who played a few years ago. I think he's just matured a lot.
Yes.
And I think South African cricket has changed a lot. We didn't know how to deal with people like Wayne Parnell. He was a bit different than others. And now I feel...
He was kid prodigy, man. He was kid prodigy.
And I think we could have handled his talent a bit better. I mean, a left armer that can score hundreds as well. He doesn't look like the classiest batsman ever, but damn, he hits the ball so nicely. He hits it so sweetly. So I'm excited. He can play a big role in this Proteas side because the hunt for all-rounders is on. Dwayne Pretorius is really fit. Andile Peshuklai's form has been, how do I say it, awful over the past 2 years.
Yes.
Although he scored 100. He scored 103 2 weeks ago for the Dolphins in the 4-day match. So for me, that was always a concern of mine about Peshuklai. I need him to score first-class hundreds, and he did that.
Yes.
And especially at a time where things weren't going his way. So I'm happy. Perhaps that's a turning point for him because I tweeted about Peshuklai, like, what happened to this dude? So yeah. Very, very happy that he's kind of getting himself back on track. But back to Wayne Parnell, there's an opportunity for him to stake a claim in the side and really push to maybe T20 World Cup or the 50 over World Cup next year.
Fantastic. That's where we leave it for today, Carl Lewis, the sports podcast with me and you and the millions of listeners. We've got Virat Kohli listening today. We've got... Cristiano Ronaldo.
You'll be upset that
we're not. Week.
He's going to be upset. We didn't speak about him. He did his 100th test recently.
Yeah, look, Virat, it can't always be about you, and he understands that when he's in South Africa. This isn't a Shout at the Stumps featured episode, so I'm teasing. Yeah, nice one, Louis. I always enjoy catching up with you.
Likewise, dude. Likewise. Another great
Anything
show.
Else you want to say?
Anything else? Big news. Tom Brady is back in NFL. He was retired
that.
A month.
What a cop-out. Is that business? Is this business to make a share price go higher?
No. Something happened with his... So he never announced his retirement initially. There were media reports that came out, said he's looking to retire. Then he hastily came a day or two later, said he's retiring. But he always gave these hints that, he's not done. So I feel he was almost backed into a corner to retire, and he didn't really want to retire, and I don't blame him. The reason being is they missed out on a Super Bowl, like, by the finest of margins, to the eventual winners. Rather, they lost on the last play to the eventual winners of the Super Bowl. He plays in a conference that is wide open, that they can win, and there is a path to the Super Bowl for him that he can see. And he can really win again. And Tom Brady's record is always winning it. He wins a Super Bowl, doesn't win it, then the next year he wins it. Every 2 years. So he's due that now.
You mentioned him not wanting to retire, and then the media said so, and then he retired. It reminded me of one of the great club cricketers of our generation, Rodney Brown, who played for Glamorgan, Carl. I don't know if you're aware of this, but
of course
I played against him more than once, and on more than 3 occasions. Every time he played at St. Augustine.
I played in one of his matches where they had a guard of honor.
A guard of honor to retire, and then every season you're like, Skara, why are you back?
Literally just like that. Literally just like that.
There wasn't even media reports. He just decided, nope, I want the guard of honor at Saints.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, enjoy the F1. I know we're going to be glued to our screens. Enjoy the football, enjoy the rugby, enjoy everything. And just thank you for sharing.
Week, yeah.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge. I love picking your brain and listening to you speak. This is the Sports Podcast with Carl Lewis and Dalin Oliver sometimes. That's the new name.